Moving through the real fine stuff, Automotive Day, as you do. Talk about variety here. There's so much stuff at this little show. Kevin, welcome to Classic Restos.
Thank you. How you going, Flags?
Oh, mate, I'm fantastic. These little two-stroke jobs, you know, these are incredible. I mean, the closest I've been to one was about 12 months ago up on Newcastle Beach. The thing was doing like 100 kilometres an hour. Tell us the story of these.
Well, they got little 0.21cc engines. They rev to 48,000 RPM, and they put out, I think it's 3.5 horsepower, which out of a motor that big is pretty good, you know?
You know, it's amazing the principles of an internal combustion engine. You'd think that the speed, the piston speed, you'd think it'd be all too fast for anything to happen.
I know, yeah. Yeah, they're amazing little engines. Like, they run on nitro as well, so they've got raw nitro in the fuel mix, and it gives it that pop that they want, you know?
Kevin, I can't believe the grunt of these things. They're a four-wheel drive. The way they come around the corners and the way they just hook in, the suspension, independent suspension in each corner.
Yeah, they've got 3 diffs in them, front, centre and rear. They've got sway bars. They've basically got everything a Formula One car would have. It's amazing what the amount of engineering that's gone into these things. It's a great sport. I love it.
These cars today are engine differences. Are they all pretty well the same capacity?
They are, yeah. The buggies, the smaller versions, they have the 0.21. Some of the truggies can have a 0.28, which, you know, it makes a little bit of difference. But as you can see, they go like little rockets, you know.
What sort of speeds do they do, Kevin? Like, if you just let one go in a straight line, what would it get up to?
It would get up to 100 kilometres an hour quite easy. You can gear them up, you can gear them down, so you can get to that 100 kilometres an hour in roughly 3 or 4 seconds, you know, so it's pretty quick.
When you power them, they're just instantaneous power, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. The manufacturers, what they've gone through to actually get the engineering and stop it, the drivetrain just turning itself inside out, it's pretty amazing.
Now, Kevin, you guys stand for some good things. You've got a charity day coming up. Tell us about your club.
Well, the club, it's in Liverpool, just off Heathcote Road there. It's been going for 20 years. In 2 weeks' time, we're running a race for the McGrath Foundation and for Care Flight. So that'll be a nice charity day. I believe we've got a few celebrities coming along that have a little bit more exposure for the club and the sport as a whole, you know. So it should be good.
Now, Kevin, have you got a website? If you're watching the show and you're thinking, wow, I want to be part of this, how do I get into this? What's the website?
Yeah, it's www.lrrcc.com. Yeah, we're in Sydney. There's no AU on that, though, so yeah, just .com.
Oh, good on you, Kevin. Keep up the good work, mate. These are awesome. These are really awesome. I should be getting around filming more classic cars, but I've been stuck here watching this for an hour.
Yeah, well, I used to race the real cars, and these are a lot cheaper, so it's good. Okay, well, Flex, this is our pit area. This is where we do all our work on our cars. In here, this is the fuel tank. They've got a little quick-release lid so that the fuel man can fill you up during our races. The races are 1 hour long in the finals, and fuel strategy does become important. As you can see, on here, these are our shock absorbers, just here and here. On these, we can alter the height, we can alter the spring, we can alter the oil within the shock, we can alter the pistons to create more dampening or less dampening or more jumping ability. This is the engine, the manifold and the pipe. Obviously, little air filter here that we have to oil the inside. That's got like a light trace of oil on it, and basically stops any debris going into the engine. As you can see here, you know, we work on the cars, work on the chuggies. This is a normal race guy's equipment. He's got all his tools. He needs to work on his cars. It's got all different shock oils, filter oils, everything. You know, we keep spares of everything, servos, screws, bolts. But you know, when someone's starting out in this race, in this sport, they don't need, you know, it's not that expensive compared to real racing. And the fact is, when you do crash, it doesn't hurt. You know, and we are a family-orientated club. So we do like families coming along, and it's a great father-son sport, father-daughter. We've got a lot of girls at the track, so yeah, it's a great sport.
I tell you something, you know, talk of variety. How good's this? Now, I'm in uncharted territory here, Brett. Welcome to Classic Restos.
Thank you very much. It's very nice to be here. I like all the old cars and Well, the people are great.
That's good, Brett. Well, look, you've got something special here, mate, and I don't know a lot about it. I want you to tell us how this thing works, how much power it's got. Tell us about the thrust, all that type of thing.
Okay, well, what I have here is a quarter-scale jet dragster. It's 2.3 metres long. It does 125,000 RPM. It puts out about 40 to 42 pounds of thrust, just over 20 kilos or so. It does a scale quarter in about 6.1, and at just over 200 k's. So it's a toy, and probably set me back about 10 grand.
Wow, geez, I tell you what, you know, it's action-packed. I mean, it's a pretty thrilling sort of a toy. I mean, just to let it loose in a straight line, mate, must be a lot of fun.
It's a handful. It gets a bit angry to steer, but I've got a gyro on there to help me out a bit. So it works at 50 milliseconds. It takes me about 2 or 3 weeks. So
bloody hell, Brett. I mean, you know, you could cook your toast on it, mate, couldn't you?
Yeah, the temperature is about 1,500 degrees in the exhaust when it's at full noise. So the engine itself just about 650. So
have you ever burnt yourself?
No, but I've had a young fella about 5 years old grab hold of the tailpipe after I've stopped it and took all his fingerprints off. So that wasn't nice. So,
so you're left with the little bloke's DNA.
Correct, yes. It's all been burnt off now, but yeah, it's good.
Oh, the poor kid. Just look around for the kid that's got bones at the ends of his fingers. Brett, how involved is it? Like, do you have to have a big knowledge of this to be involved? Or I guess you'd learn that in time, wouldn't you?
No, not really. I'm a helicopter technician by trade, but it's simple. It's only got one moving part in the engine. It just goes round and round, and all you do is throw fuel at it. So if it's got air and fuel, it'll go.
So really, they're just a perfect fuel-burning machine, aren't they?
Not really. They're not that efficient, but it's basically the same engine as you would have in a jet engine, as in an airliner or something like that. It's just a little less complicated.
Forgive me, my knowledge, I'm always fascinated with jet engines. I mean, I do a lot of flying with classic Restos, and I love every plane ride I have. I just love flying around the place. But I still can't, I mean, I've never been educated in terms of how a jet engine actually works, but certainly looking at it, feeling the thrust that these things have got, and trying to comprehend fuel going in to spin turbines, to suck air in and push it out the back at the rate of knots it does. It always amazes me.
Well, to be honest, the amount of thrust that's coming out the back is just a waste of what's left over from turning the front of the engine. About 60% of the air that goes through the engine is used for cooling. The rest of it is used for thrust. There's a little waste in noise and heat and stuff, and the left over is what you feel in the aeroplane. They're pretty amazing things.
That's interesting stuff. I've got to talk about that all day. Well, Brett, thanks very much, mate. You better start it up and give us a bit of a demo.
I'll have to fuel it up, unfortunately. I've just finished.